Texas Governor Greg Abbott wants to pardon this guy. His name is Sergeant Daniel Perry. He's 35 years old. There was a Black Lives Matter protest in Texas. This guy drove up to it. Some of the he had, Trump stuff on his car, and was apparently, yelling at the protesters. Some of the protesters came over and started slapping his car with their hands, and he pulled out a gun and shot this guy. Shot him dead. Shot him several times. Garrett Foster was the guy that he shot on July 25th, 2020. And then he claimed self-defense. He said that the guy that he shot, who did have an AR-15 slung over his shoulder, so these are two armed guys. He said, that guy threatened me first. He had a gun too. Now, the witnesses on the scene testified that Foster never raised the weapon and had been pushing his black quadruple amputee fiance's wheelchair when he was killed. This is a white guy who was engaged to be married to a black woman who was in a wheelchair, and he was pushing her wheelchair when he was shot, according to witnesses. But it doesn't matter. He was a white guy who showed up at a Black Lives Matter protest and murdered somebody who has a black fiance, and so Greg Abbott is like, hey, we're going to let this guy out of jail. I mean, he had a trial by a jury of his peers. They found him guilty. They sentenced him to life, or I don't think it was life in prison. It was a number of years in prison, and I don't have the sentence here. And yeah, he became enraged when protesters started beating on his car. And he faces life in prison. Oh, the sentencing hasn't happened yet. That's why I didn't know it. He's facing life in prison, though. For murder. I mean, you shoot somebody a whole bunch of times and they die, that's murder. And he shot him from inside his car. So, is Greg Abbott going to follow through on this? I mean, Greg Abbott, who just delights in putting people in prison, who arrests black people just for voting. This guy murdered somebody, and he's going to say, nah, I'm going to cut him a break. Amazing. Amazing. In Tennessee, they're still trying to keep the Justins out. No Justins, no peace. Protesters have showed up at the Tennessee House again today. We'll see how that one plays out, too. It's 27 minutes past the hour.